Sounds like a nightmare. It sounds like my worst nightmare.
I've loved this Black Hawk Down discussion. This has been my favorite part of the podcast so far. I hope.
Oh, man.
In the morning, I'm making waffles.
Whoever said orange was the new pink was seriously disturbed.
And when it comes to huge openings, a lot of people think of me.
Just call me a fuck ass.
Brilliant. Scary. I get nasty when I'm horny.
Welcome to Not Another 2001 Movie Podcast, a show exploring movies released during the first year of a chaotic century. I hope you guys have your earplugs in, because today we're going to blow some shit up. I'm Slate.
I'm Josh.
I'm Allison.
Welcome to another bonus episode. This week, we got 3 total episodes, right? So we've done Hannibal, and I believe this is actually going to be the second episode we're dropping this week. Okay, correct. And then after this episode on Valentine's Day, we will be dropping our bonus episode on Valentine. But like I said, we're going to blow some shit up. And what I mean by that is today we are going to be discussing in just kind of wide open fashion, a lot less structure, the second Ridley Scott film that was released in 2001 and barely in 2001. I mean, December 30th. You had 2 days to see this movie if you wanted it to count for the year 2001. But it's a war movie. It happened in 2001. Well, the film came out in 2001, on the heels of 9/11. And it's the second film that Ridley Scott released in the same year. So I thought it would be a fun conversation for us to discuss the movie Black Hawk Down. This movie has an amazing cast of characters. I mean, you're talking a slew. Yes, Josh Hartnett is at the top of the bill, and you've got Ewan McGregor, but there's so many other characters. We even have a young Tom Hardy in this movie, which just makes my heart melt. I love that man. Orlando Bloom is also in this film. There's plenty of that guys. If you've ever watched Armageddon, Captain Knauer, or well, I guess he's Captain Knauer in The Longest Yard, but he's in, what is he? I forgot his name in, I'm drawing a blank. Anyways.
If you're asking me to pull names from Armageddon, you're in the wrong.
I forgot his name. Hey, Armageddon's a fantastic movie though. But we'll get to all the characters and actors in the film. But yeah, I felt like this would be a perfect time for us to discuss this movie because I do think it's an important movie. I'm sure it made most of its money on the back end of more of 2002 than 2001, but it was a huge blockbuster and I think it's worth talking about. Yeah. So I remember watching it, probably in college. I know like my roommate Ryan kind of had a hard on for this movie at one point and was like, oh, you ever seen Black Hawk Down?
This is a Ryan coded movie.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And so I'm pretty sure, one of the days at Red Mile Village, we sat on the couch and watched this instead of Tombstone. So, Tombstone's amazing. But I mean, I remember watching it once and thinking like that was a really good action movie. And I love Ridley Scott. It's not necessarily a movie that, I knew a lot about the real life situation that the movie is based off of, which happens, I believe, in 1996. Is that right?
I was thinking it was like 93.
93. Maybe it's 93.
Yeah,
93. Okay. Yeah, that's right. 1993. But I didn't, know a whole lot about that situation at the time. And just watched the movie and thought it was just an amazing, war movie. And I could see why people gravitated to it when it happened or when it came out because we're right on the heels of going into Iraq and Afghanistan. I think that we declared war probably a month before this movie happened, I want to say. Or right around that time.
Yeah, it's weird. I was looking that up earlier. So I'm just reading. I've got it pulled up again right now. So the Global War on Terrorism, as it's officially referred to, GWAT.
Okay.
Not to be confused with GWAR. Well, I guess it is officially considered as having started on September 11th because of, I guess,
the attack.
Because of the attack.
Uh-huh.
But the invasion. There's various phases. I guess immediate response, and then And then some.
Then we started
more stuff
searching
in
for weapons of mass
2003.
destruction.
Yeah, the
and,
WMMDs, and then it, so on lasts until 2021 officially.
Right. But
Vietnam 2.
Yeah, pretty much. Going back to the cast of characters, so you've got Josh Hartnett, you've got Ewan McGregor, Tom Sizemore, Eric Bana, William Fichtner. Fichtner is the guy I was talking about. He also plays Sully in A Perfect Storm, which I watched the other night
Also,
again. I love that movie.
AKA the mob bank owner in The Dark Knight, who's
Yeah.
like,
You know whose money you're stealing from?
The sawed-off shotgun, and he's trying to fight back. He's a great character actor. I love when he pops up and stuff.
He is the perfect that guy, and I love him in everything that he does. I adore William Fichtner. Ewan Bremner is, I believe, like a Scottish actor. He's, for me, most well known in Alien vs. Predator. But he is like the guy that goes deaf in this movie when he's with Tom Hardy. Kim Coates, who's most known for Sons of Anarchy. There's just so many. Like, I could go all day about the cast.
Did you mention
of
Ewan
characters.
McGregor?
Yes, I did mention him. I mentioned him between Hartnett and Sizemore as I was going down my IMDb list to try to make sure I didn't to miss anybody. But yeah, for me, the most exciting was seeing a young Thomas Hardy, who is one of my top 3 favorite actors of all time.
It's his first movie, right?
I was going to say, this is his first movie, isn't it?
I believe it is. If it's not, it's definitely his first, like, big movie. Oh, shit, I forgot Jeremy Piven is also in the movie. I mean, it's a crazy cast. So Ridley Scott pulls out all the stunts. They go full bore, like, hardcore American rah-rah, let's blow some shit up and shoot some people. But I do think that this movie also shows a really honest insight to war and what happens and how one situation can be easy thing that you think, and all of a sudden, even if you've got the better weapons, the better technology, you're sometimes not safe. So what did you guys think about the movie?
I want to jump in real quick before we kind of even provide our thoughts on the movie, just a little context for the listener if you're not familiar with this movie. So, it's like mentioned, it came out at the end of December, and that was because I don't know why this would have been. Maybe they were kind of looking ahead and thinking, the race in 2003 would be a little bit more competitive or something, but they wanted this movie to contend at the 2002 Oscars, which honor the 2001 movies, and so that's why it had a very small release at the back end of 2001, and so it went into wide release in January of 2002 officially. So yeah, you're right, Slay. That's where it made the bulk of its money. It made close to $200 million. But it was nominated for Best Director and Best Cinematographer. It didn't win either one of those. But film editing and sound were 2 other things it was nominated for and did win. And that was the first thing that I as I was watching it, and I knew going in, I knew it was won Best Sound, but
how could it not,
right?
Right?
Of what makes this immersive, because I think that's the best thing I can say about this movie is it is immersive in a way that that no other war movie that I've watched at least is, and the sound is such a massive part of it, to the point that it does play a role in the movie where someone goes deaf and kind of is affected by it in the movie. So it's an incredibly well put together movie in that respect.
Yeah, and it's widely loved. It's a great popcorn movie, right? That we talk about where you just want to throw something on and be entertained. It'll do that for you. It has a 88% rating on Rotten Tomatoes for the audience score, the popcorn meter, and 77 for the critics. So, it's technically certified fresh. People do love it. I think that this film it's crazy because Ridley Scott goes from Gladiator to Hannibal to this. And, if you kind of take Hannibal out of it, and Hannibal was a wide success, even though 25 years later, we just had that discussion about it's not the best film. There's a lot of issues that we have with it, even though it made a lot of money and doubled and was a top 10 hit worldwide. If he had just kind of gone from Gladiator to this, we'd be talking about him as maybe one of the best action directors ever. He's one of the greatest directors of all time regardless, but It was interesting how he went from Gladiator to Hannibal, which was kind of his horror, but not really, and then back to the action, even though he was originally known for like horror and sci-fi. So,
well, and this was the worst performing of the three movies, like at the box office. Like it made a good amount of money, but it was by far the least performing, which is interesting.
I mean, I could see that because I don't think of this as escapism.
Yeah,
like,
I don't either. It's like
you just described it as like, oh, it's like a popcorn movie. Sit down
I was going to push back on that too.
Now it's a popcorn movie.
I think it's a movie that everyone should watch, but I'm going to add it to my list of like I've seen it for the most part. Yeah. So I was telling Josh before you jumped on, Josh, that like I watched this last weekend when I was fully sick and out of it, and I was like in a fugue state, and I was so stressed out the whole time, and I'm like, I can't. Oh my god, I'm so disoriented. It's so loud. I can't keep track of who's who, and I was like, I think that's kind of the point.
This is the perfect soundbar movie, or surround sound movie. Like if you have surround sound in the home entertainment, like this is fantastic.
But like it's just got a very specific look to it, you know, like the tent that he kind of throws on there, and it's so dirty and grimy, and you feel like you're there. Like it's uncomfortable, I think, to watch.
It really does feel like a first person shooter at times. Like the camera feels like a character. Like.
I was going to say that because, Call of Duty becomes a big thing. I played a lot in high school. It becomes like the game du jour for a long time. You know, it was, for our generation, or at least mine and Slade's generation, it was what Fortnite is now for a lot of people. And I could not help thinking the entire time, after I started kind of getting into it. Because the first 30 minutes are interesting, right? Because it's more about introducing you to a lot of people, and it just kind of sets you in. You know what's getting ready to come, but you're kind of like just getting to know people, kind of, and then the last 2 hours are just like gunfights, and I mean it's like action from the start to that point to the finish, and it felt like it sounds like a negative thing I'm saying, but it felt like a video game. But I'm saying that because I feel like just how this looks and how it's put together clearly had so much influence on what Call of Duty ended up looking like and a lot of that stuff. Like it's so clear, like there were first person shooters before this and after this that aren't Call of Duty, but like this clearly like so had such a big influence on what first person shooters would look like for a while. I feel like it just seems like impossible for it not to have had.
Yeah. This movie probably does I wasn't in the theater when I saw it, but when I get the feel when I watch this movie that even though it's not made by an American director, it is still a very patriotic movie in the sense that like some people are probably going to be fired up to like go to war because of this movie and be like, yeah, let's go get those fucking Taliban that, blew our World Trade Centers up and like this is the type of shit that our boys are dealing with. We need to support them. But I think it does that really well while also like not being a commercial for the military and saying like, grab your gun and let's go. It's all roses here,
See, so that's where I struggle with it. And again, like you mentioned a popcorn movie and why it's hard. And this is I will admit, like, to be transparent, like this is me bringing a lot of my just personal attitude to the movie, I think. But it's hard for me to not watch this and just think of it as propaganda, even though it's not propaganda in the sense of like what you think of, like, yeah, it's not. I don't think it's as raw in as a ton of other things like that come out that are like this, like, and that have come out since then. Like I think something like American Sniper's like a really clear like that's the kind of thing that's like blatant like that's just like blatantly like out in your face. Like this is more, but it's
and not really a factual story from
right
from what we've been
yeah. So. But something like this is a little more sneaky because it's hard for me to think about. So I read something that Ridley Scott he called this an anti-war but pro-military movie. And I think he's actually, like, that's a case where the director is, like, actually very spot on with how they've assessed their own work. Because I do think it shows, like, it shows the horror of war, but in doing that, it is still like showing like, I mean, these U.S. military though, like look how good they are, like look how brave they are, and how
no man left behind.
Yeah, no man left behind,
Yeah.
and that's good. Like I'm not saying those are bad things to embrace about just being a human. Like I think there's a lot of things in the military that are positives in terms of like being there for each other and that brotherhood and just and this, you know, the power of friendship and that sort of thing. But I think what you were saying, Slate, like it does get like, even with all the, like, people tend to see the guns and the action and the brotherhood and don't see, they look past like, okay, well, yeah, this still, you know, this, because clearly I do think that this would be like,
they're like Orlando Bloom. They're like his character when he's ready and he's raring to go. He's like, give me a gun, I'm ready to go fight.
Yeah, he doesn't make it too long though. He's not the best trained.
And
oh, sorry, go ahead, Josh.
No, I was going to say, and I think that's a good thing to point out, Allison, because because it's tough, because it's why I feel, even like, I don't feel bad calling it propaganda, but it is in a weird space where it's like it is trying to tell this, what is a true story, like something that really happened, but it's still like, by doing that, it because of the nature of what it is, it has to operate in a way where it becomes propaganda, even if it's not really intended to be, you know?
I think that the part that probably leans into that the most is when Eric Bana is talking to, I think he's talking to Josh Hartnett, and he's saying, like, you know, every time we go back home, people always ask, like, why do you do it? And I tell them, you wouldn't get it. And it's because of the guy right next to you. And so, like, I see where that is kind of propagandish, and it's probably the most heightened point of it. But based off of conversations that I've had with, you know, friends of mine whose husbands were over in Afghanistan, and you know, I had my next door neighbor died over in Afghanistan. It was crazy. He actually came home with his family on his leave, spent like a week home, had been back in Afghanistan for like 3 days and got hit by a roadside bomb. Killed him in his, yeah. God. I came home from school one day and the whole family was just out on the porch, and I knew something was wrong, and it was rough. One of those things that sticks with you forever, literally forever. Couldn't imagine what they still go through to this day. Yeah, I mean, like, when you talk to those people, like, that's the same response that I feel like they'll give you. So I don't think it's disingenuous or forced, or, you know, Hollywood trying to make a commercial for the military. I think it's just like, what happens, and the response that he got from the soldiers that he interviewed when he was doing this movie. I know that, me personally, I think I'm the only one. You guys didn't have time to check out the Netflix documentary that they did on surviving Black Hawk Down, did you?
Nope.
Okay. So Ridley Scott actually produced the documentary for Netflix that is Surviving Black Hawk Down, which takes the real life accounts from the people who are in this movie being portrayed on film and what they really actually experienced and went through while they were there. It is a lot like this movie in the sense that, like, while they're telling the stories, they're reenacting it, and it looks like this movie, but they didn't use this movie. They just decided to make it a movie again. But it's kind of crazy to think that he's... it's weird for me to see that he's, like, so focused and like, wanting to tell this American story for somebody who's not an American citizen. He's not a patriot, you know, but he clearly has an attachment to this story and these people. And I think that if you ever have time to watch that 3-part series, I think you will understand that I think that a lot of this is stuff that he took from them and really did just put it into the film and try to portray how their emotions, how they felt when they were in it, instead of, like, wondering what the American government or military officers would think about it. So
So they did at least get a little bit of funding from the military. I know that for sure. I was reading about it because of, they lent them equipment. And the only thing that I could find as far as like that, because typically if you do that, like one, they want you to be portrayed in a good light, which, I mean, I do think they mostly are, but I mean, it's not like, there's a lot of open to interpretation in terms of like, because again, it is a true story. Like it's something that's kind of, there's some facts around it. The only thing I could hardcore find that was like a weird, not a weird stipulation. I see why the military wanted to do it, but that I think was something that they should have pushed back on. So Ewan McGregor's character, his name is different from the real life person. Did they get into this in the documentary?
They did not. So that was the thing. The documentary. Now there are things that are in this film that are not accurate or not depicted or in the documentary that they don't talk about. Like there, for instance, the deaf character that he's not mentioned in the film. The pilot that breaks his back at the very end of the movie and becomes like a prisoner of war. He's a vital part of the documentary, and they spend a lot of time on him. He's not shown much in here. The thing that stood out the most to me was the, I guess, dynamic and irritation, frustration, lack of communication, and fighting amongst the different ranks of like, well, they're the Rangers, we're the
Delta.
The Rangers and Deltas and all that. Like, in the documentary, there doesn't seem to be any tension there at all. It's not like, oh, your guys aren't structured and my guys haven't eaten and you're being assholes. Like, that's not a dynamic. I think that's Hollywood being Hollywood there. But they didn't mention that Ewan McGregor's character name was changed. I assumed that some of the characters in the film are different names than the actual people they portray in the movie, but I didn't focus too much on that. I just kind of liked listening to the stories and what they had to say.
Do you want me to tell you why his name was changed?
Yeah, have at it.
I did want, because I saw, it looks like he's the only character that says it's based on somebody as opposed to like the name, and I did wonder about that.
So as far as I can tell, every other character in the movie is based on is named after a real person. So his character's name was changed again because at the request of the U.S. military, because the character he's based on, or the real life man he's based on, his last name's Stebbins. I'm trying to find this for John Stebbins. He was convicted of raping his daughter.
Oh.
So a 6-year-old, I believe, 6-year-old. So.
God.
So you all can I'll drop that in the show notes for this if anybody wants to read about it. But obviously, terrible thing. And apparently, he's out. He was in prison for he had a 30-year sentence and was released after 18 years or something. So.
Honestly, kind of shocked he survived prison.
Yeah, same.
Given the treatment that sex offenders of young kids tend to get.
Yeah.
Well, Josh just threw a rocket-propelled grenade into
right into your helicopter.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was like, and again, I from the military perspective, I understand why you don't want that, but it's also like. To me, it's worse almost to try to have it not covered up, but it's I don't know, it's weird, strange, I guess. And at the time, it would have been harder, I think, to know that somebody had that change. But now you can look it up, and it's going to be one of the first things you probably find out about the movie if you do any kind of quick
research
reading. So it's that probably could have handled that better. But
you think they should have just let that character out of the movie completely?
Maybe. I don't know. I think I would just kept his name. I mean, I think it's if you're going to try to tell a true story, you kind of got to you got to live with the bad, as shitty as, obviously as shitty as that person is. That's fair. That's where I sit with it, at least. I mean,
I can see how maybe they wouldn't want to glorify him.
Yeah.
In any way, given the.
Yeah. That's why I think I was gonna say the two reasons why I would think that they would vote to change the name is, one, they don't want to, even though I guess you could say somewhat a hero in this movie. Although
he's ends up getting he's an award, like a medal. I mean, he obviously earned what he got.
They don't want to give him the credit for that with what he did, and probably too especially like now obviously 25 years ago is different, but in today's climate, 25 years later, if somebody saw this movie today and then they found out he did what he did, the first thing they would say is like, oh, PTSD, he raped his daughter because of what happened in war. And I'm sure the military didn't want that to be attached to the narrative either. And so I could totally see why they did that.
Yeah, it's a tough thing. It's not like an enviable position to be in, obviously, if you're like the filmmakers or the military. It's like you don't want, I mean, obviously it's a fucking shitty, awful person, at the end of the day. Like, he just did something horrendous, so.
Yeah, he should have just stuck to making coffee.
Isn't he's the one that, like, well, he acts like he wants to go and fight, but then when they're like, oh, you're not going to be a desk jockey anymore.
Yeah.
You actually get to go, and they're like, isn't it what you wanted? He's kind of like...
He's like, yeah.
Yeah,
He's
hell yeah. But then
petrified.
later, he's the one that yells like, fuck this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just disappointed
he's
that he...
kind of funny.
Yeah, in a movie that's very light on laughs, he does bring some of the Ewan McGregor brings
very light on laughs. That's the full quote.
I was disappointed it didn't break into song. I was honestly really disappointed.
You're waiting for an Elephant Love song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt like Ridley, it would have elevated my thoughts on this movie if there were just a lot of choreography.
That's interesting that we talked about Ridley Scott having 2 movies in 2001, but Ewan McGregor, I forgot he was in this.
Yeah.
He did Moulin Rouge.
It's a completely different. That's a weird thing too. Like, he goes from being a broke ass playwright singing "I hope you don't mind that I put down out in words how wonderful life is now that you're here."
Fuck this.
Yeah, exactly. to fuck this and like I think doesn't he end up with like blood all over his face at some point with the
pretty sure.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, I think I've trying to make my general feelings about this movie clear, but I do want to. I am with Allison in that, like, I would be surprised if I ever watched this movie again. Like, I didn't even find it entertaining, but I did like watching it in the sense of like just studying it, like, and looking at what Ridley's doing in the actors, and it reminded me a lot of a movie that we have already talked about and are going to it's coming in for the listener, it's coming down the pike, but it reminded me a lot of Gosford Park, actually.
Because there's 5,000 characters
because
you have
there's
to keep
a ton
track
of characters, like, and it's a lot of, it's much different. But the first 30 minutes especially, like, are very similar.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier, Josh, you and I, and before you hopped on, me and Allison as well, is like, you only know their last names. It's hard to, some of the last names are hard to understand, like Twombly, and so you're like, I don't even know what that guy's name is. Then there's a Blackburn, Thomas, and all these other names, and they all pretty much look almost identical because they're military buzz cuts, clean shave, and they're all wearing the same uniform. It's all tucked, like, you can't really associate.
Think it's intentional. I really think it's intentional.
Which is weird because I think it would mean more if they didn't do that intentionally, because when some of these characters die, it's like, oh, that's just a dead one, and like other ones have meaning, but some of them don't. And like for instance, the first guy that gets shot in the Humvee when he's holding the 50 cal and they're going through, like, we should have spent more time with that guy and really understood who he was.
And I don't even know who that guy was. Like, he died, and like, and his death was like
his
really
name.
Well, like,
he's got a really unique name, and they talk quite a bit about him in the documentary. He's kind of important to the people that were there. Like, he's really good friends with a couple of the guys they're interviewing. So his death was like a real big thing, and they make it kind of big, but I don't feel like you feel that emotional attachment to him.
Yeah, I had trouble keeping track of like who was still alive and who was who. And again, part of that is me not being 100% on top of my game and like kind of drifting in and out, and like, things kind of waking me up because every time there's an explosion, it would like shake the room.
Well, I do think if you were trying to, if you were trying to read this as like, okay, what Ridley is saying is like it's anti-war, pro-military. I do think if you're leaning the anti-war thing, some of that stuff is working in a way that makes it like it should revolt us that like someone just dies and you don't know who they are, you haven't gotten to care about them, and that happens like in quick succession there for a while. Like a lot of people kind of get gunned down, and it's hard to care because you have to move on and keep going. And like I think that's like
it's a 2.5 hour long movie. It's not like we could have added much depth to it.
It's a very long movie, and I think that's part of the point is like, well, this is war. Like you kind of you have to not care, or you have to
but I do kind of feel that though. Like when that kind of stuff happens, and then they just have to move on. I'm like, this is all. It's so senseless, and I find it upsetting in that regard. You know that like they can't even take the time to mourn their fallen comrade necessarily. They just gotta like pick up and go on.
I think the part that really hits home with that is them basically having to circle back around and pick up the dead bodies, and that's their 3 seconds to mourn, and it's really while you're under heavy gunfire and risking getting shot and killed yourself just to bring your friend's body back home. You know, I do think that that's some very powerful imagery that really hits home there.
Well, and it's one of those things like that kind of act is like in our minds, like if you're just talking about it, if you're a civilian who's never been to war or anything in a situation like that, a war zone, it's an image that you associate with a third world country or like savages. Like you're like, and I'm using that like just in casual phrase. I'm not saying the people in the movie are savages. I'm saying like just using that in as a phrase. Like it's an act of it's less human to do that because that's something like animals do. Like you go and drag a dead body and take it back to the cave or whatever. You're still, these are the quote unquote good guys, the U.S. military, but yet they still have to go do the same thing at the end of the day. But I think that's, there's something there too in terms of the trying to read that message into it. I think that's interesting.
Well, I was going to say on maybe like a more uplifting note. Watching this movie reminded me of like how good Eric Bana can be.
Yeah.
And he hasn't done anything.
Yeah, what's he been in lately?
Recently, right? But like I feel like he was in everything in the early aughts, and this was I thought he was really good in this role, and I was kind of kept captive by him, I guess. And also his name is what, Hoot? Or like
Hoot. Yeah. He's got a nice little country accent.
Some of the reading I did, he's like, I think the favorite character among a lot of people, like, which makes total sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny, like, the main thing I remember Eric Bana from growing up was the really, really shitty Incredible Hulk movie that he was in.
You mean the awesome one, the best Hulk movie?
That movie has some stuff to it. It's not perfect, but I think it's got some interesting.
Of the two Hulk movies, I think it is incredibly by far the better of the two.
Fun fact: Bana is also in Lone Survivor, another true story war movie about a lot of men dying in a really shitty situation. I didn't realize that.
He's Hector in Troy.
Yeah.
He's Monterey Jack in Chippendale Rescue Rangers. Anybody see that? It's the reboot, I guess.
I used to love Chippendale.
I love the original cartoon.
Yeah,
I had the Nintendo game.
Bana's actually got a really big role in that Untamed TV series on Netflix. That's pretty good. Like a lot of people really loved that. My girlfriend watched it, and I think she watched it all in like one day, maybe two. So that's the last thing that I've seen him in. Another positive note about this movie, we get a really good Josh Hartnett performance. Yeah. This is the first
probably
movie
his best role
until Trap.
I haven't seen Trap.
Trap is amazing.
I love Trap. It is. I'm not going to say it's a good movie.
I'm a Shyamalan-y. Whatever we call ourselves.
I know, I agree with that, Josh. And like, I've gone to see pretty much all of his movies, and people I've gone with or who have seen like Old and Trap and everything. They're like, God, it was so dumb. And I'm like, you know what?
I love
Trap's awesome.
At least when I go see a Shyamalan movie, I know I'm going to see a story told in a way that I haven't seen before.
You're going to see a movie
Even if it doesn't work, it's like I am seeing something told in a fresh way. You know,
You guys do know what his next movie is going to be, right?
I did.
It's a Nicholas Sparks like romance.
Yeah, I
novel.
remember it was
Let's
something
go.
weird.
He'll do something cool with it. He'll do something.
I
cool with it.
don't know about that one. I think Shyamalan's better suited for like his intellectual properties and not
Remain?
a romance book.
It's called. Is it called Remain? It's Wikipedia describes it as a supernatural romantic thriller. That sounds awesome.
Now that maybe okay, all right, maybe not.
Maybe he'll take great liberties with the source material.
Yeah, I mean the only thing I could think of is like one of the characters falls in love with the other character, and the one of them is a ghost or something like that's.
I'm into it. I'm ready. I think I think he's an interesting guy that kind of dipped and has like bounced back in a really strong way, at least for me. Like, cause I liked Old. I like Knock at the Cabin.
Knock at the Cabin was great. I never finished
Trap
Old
yet, but
Trap is awesome. You get it. I would say, aside from Black Hawk Down, Trap is by far the best performance you're going to get out of Josh Hartnett. And I don't think Josh Hartnett's a bad actor, but
I thought he was great in Oppenheimer.
Josh Hartnett's in
he is
Oppenheimer.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Okay, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, fair. That's
He
valid.
is one of those guys, though. It's interesting that this is like probably his biggest. He's on the fucking poster. Like he's like the only guy on the poster in a movie that has like fucking 40 dudes in it. Like,
He is this was like his James Dean, like you are the face, the star, our new like Hollywood's lead guy, right? This is what I think thought this movie was going to make him, and I don't think there's any reason why it didn't, but for some reason it never really took off with him. I mean, he had Pearl Harbor, like he had his roles, don't get me wrong, but he never, I don't think ever established himself as like Hollywood's top guy.
He did a lot of like really bad movies. I feel like after he, got kind of the bump from being in a movie like this. But did you ever watch the show Penny Dreadful?
Love Penny Dreadful.
I thought he was really good in it. That was kind of felt like he disappeared for a long time, and then I saw him in that.
He kind of reinvented himself in Penny Dreadful, yeah. Penny Dreadful is an amazing show if you're into like gothic horror stories.
I have a buddy who I hope will be on the podcast one day. Corey, he liked that. He talked good things about that show. So
it's a lot of fun. You get a lot of great performances. Eva Green's amazing in it.
Oh, Eva Green.
Gotta love her. Gotta love her. But yeah, I mean, so what do you think is like the most powerful sequence in this film? Is it the war scenes? Is it them trying to save the guy's life at the end when he gets shot in the leg and they can't do that? I mean, that right there is like gut wrenching. Like, what do you think? Like, if you had one scene to show from this movie and say, this is what Ridley Scott did best in this film, what stood out to you?
I mean, that scene is powerful, but I feel like I've also kind of seen similar scenes in other movies. I feel like there's always like, there's a guy that we're trying to save, and you're doing everything you can, and you just can't. Mm-hmm. I will say though that like I can't remember their names again, and they're like, I'm so sorry, I'm gonna have to cause you pain.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna fix this, and then you just hear this like visceral scream, and then it's completely silent, and you're like, oh, that's not.
Yeah.
And I guess he kind of briefly comes out of it for a second, and then he's just gone. But
yeah, that sequence is really good.
When they're in the street just running from like hiding behind wall to wall, and you're kind of like the first person shooter, like you said, you feel like you're following along behind them. I was just so stressed out the whole time. And then they're accidentally like shooting at each other.
That was
crazy.
What are you doing, you fucking idiot? You almost shot me.
That was like the funniest moment in the movie. Was that like when he's like you come?
Yeah, he's like, come to me, and he's like, you fucking come to me, and he's like, ah, shit, all right.
It's just like just trotting through the street, like it's like it's so tense, but it's also like fucking hilarious. Like,
so, Allison, you brought up shooting at each other, which I'm sure this is the first and maybe only film like they openly just kind of say like, yeah, we fuck up and shoot at each other sometimes. I'm sure that happens quite a bit, honestly. But it kind of triggered in me the main question that I wanted to ask about this movie. Were we just unprepared or overconfident?
Probably a little bit of both.
Where's that meme? Why not both?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, fair. I mean, okay. But, like, it does seem like this was... Our overconfidence probably led to our unpreparedness, but it's... A lot of these guys received medals, but I also think that the people that were in charge of this, as far as, like, who made the call, the director that's telling them the plan and everything else, should have been demoted.
Well,
it says General Garrison
retired, right?
took responsibility and retired as soon as
they got ID.
Yeah.
Well, I think if I'm not mistaken, I believe it also ultimately, like, this is an event that led to the retirement of whoever was or the resignation of whoever was the Secretary of Defense at the time. I was reading about that. I think it. I'd hate to sit here and lie to the people, but it's a bonus episode, so things are a little bit more loose.
Yeah.
But I do think I'm pretty sure that I read that it led. Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to find it here in time, but it's not because they brought up that it wasn't even mentioned in the end card of the movie. Like, they don't mention that.
Yeah.
And because I guess there's probably a few things that kind of compiled, but that was one. He was whoever was acting at that time ends up retiring pretty soon after. Yeah, I mean, I think it's as an American, I feel absolutely okay saying this, that we are like we there's this exceptionalism that we kind of propel into the world, especially at that time. I think it's probably been weakened, but in the 90s, I think that was like the last hurrah. Like, I think pre 2001, like, because that's that moment. I mean, we're talking about 2001 movies. I do think that moment, September 11th, is what shows the world, like, oh, America is not as strong as
they're vulnerable.
We put into the world. Yeah, we're vulnerable. And I think this is like this isn't the same thing, but it's related to it in the sense of, like, okay, it's our military getting embarrassed on the world stage. Because I guess, this was a big deal. You brought up what we thought our most powerful scene was. I think it's the scene that, it's sad. It's incredible. It's awful. Like the soldier who's watching he's hiding, trying to hide, and he knows he's going to get killed. And
is that Durant?
Or thinks he's getting killed.
The one who broke his back, so he can't move.
Yeah, so
that's Blackburn is the one who fell out of that's Orlando Bloom that fell out and broke his back.
Okay, who's the Durant?
No. You're talking about the pilot that broke his back. I was thinking, yes.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right. I got confused. I was thinking about
his. Again, I can't remember their names. They're killed, and he's just sitting there, and they're cutting to him, and he's like grabbing a picture of his wife or girlfriend.
Yeah, he's like just
and
ready.
And you can just hear the people kind of like coming, and it's so.
Yeah, it's awful. It's like, and before that, they're parading a body around in the street, and that's like the thing. Like, I guess that was like news footage. Like, that got circulated, like, on, like, this was the era where CNN and Fox News and everything was starting to take. Well, Fox News launched later. I know that for a fact because of, like, some stuff I've done in the past, like research. But, like, CNN, like the cable news networks were starting to be like a lot of this era of time, the early 90s, is when a lot of this stuff is on TV for the first time, like we're seeing, and that gets shown on TV, like these Somalian citizens parading American soldiers through the streets, and that's pretty crazily. I can't imagine living at that point in time and, like, watching TV and seeing that I feel like that would be it would be unsettling, obviously, but also, like, it would be, I think it's hard to say there's any wrong or right way to react to that. And so, like, it's a very crazy thing to see.
That's like, if you've seen Game of Thrones.
Hmm.
Oh my God, there's
I've watched the first 4 episodes of that show probably 4 times, and it bores the living shit out of me.
I'm not a fan. I'm not a big fan.
That's what they say. It gets great. I can't do it.
It gets great, and then it goes downhill. But there's some really great stuff in it. But there's the scene after the famous Red Wedding where they're, like, parading bodies, and, like, the head of, like, the dire wolf. That's what that reminded me of.
Yeah, it is shocking and brutal, and definitely eye-opening how quickly they come onto that body and dismember it, and take the guns and everything else from them. It's crazy. For me, I think for me the most powerful sequence and scene that if I only could show a few minutes of this film, because I didn't really mention it, but it would have been while they're in the streets, lost in the Hummers, and they're just kind of sitting there taking bullets and ammunition, and also trying to get the bodies loaded back onto the like. I thought that kind of shows like the heart, the dangerousness of war, the incompetency of what we had going on at this point in time, and how overwhelmed we were, and also just the sadness of the casualties and what our men had to go through over there. But getting back to the documentary that Ridley Scott and then put together for the Netflix, I think it's really interesting too that they do a really good job of getting Somali citizens and their viewpoints on what happened that day and how they felt about Americans and how the tensions started to build and why it became what it was. They also get interviews from Somali soldiers that were top Adid men and like how they felt. It's a very like good non-biased, just both sides of war. Here's where we're at and what we think, and this is exactly what happened and how we felt and how we still feel today about the opposing side and what happened that day. If you're really wanting to like dive into what it is like for both sides of war, it's a very powerful documentary. I highly recommend it.
One more thing I'd like to bring up before we move on in terms of like powerful scenes. It's not really a powerful scene, but it's like those shots, like it's more like shots. And I think why this, like, there's a lot of good cinematography throughout, like especially like you brought up the tinning, Allison. I think a lot of that stuff's super cool how that's handled. But I just like the shots, like the thing that I'm, if I'm like sitting here, okay, yeah, it's propaganda, whatever. Like I don't, like fuck war, but also like the helicopters are fucking cool. Like, and like the shots, like some of those shots early on where they had these wide shots of like, it's just so, like how it's staged is like fucking, it's like, it's beautiful. Like,
it's weird because it felt like Ridley Scott was like geared up for this movie, and you don't get that in Hannibal as much. And maybe it's the limitations of the script and what they have. I felt like in Hannibal, he has certain sequences like that we talked about with the bracelet and Potsy's kill and the carousel to some extent. And definitely but the fish shootout market is about the closest that you get to this, and for obvious reasons. But like, even the non-action sequences just feel different in this film. Like I don't know, it feels like he's put another level of energy, thought, and care into the way he shot this movie versus Hannibal.
Assuming that the timelines were, because I think it was, like you said, Gladiator, then Hannibal, then this. I mean, that's how they were released. I assume that's also how they were made. Maybe it was just like, Hannibal's like, okay, I'm going to take it easy a little bit, kind of chill out for a second. Like, it's almost like your middle inning, middle inning movie, Like,
he's like, I got Anthony Hopkins and Jodie Foster. How bad can it be? I'll just let them do their thing.
Let them do their thing, yeah.
Oh, whoops. I lost half my rotation.
Oh yeah, there goes Jodie Foster. he got this set the first day. He's like, who the fuck is this? Oh, it's Julianne Moore. What? I didn't order a Jodie Foster light.
Jodie Foster 0.
I'm sorry.
No sugar added.
I hope she doesn't listen. She's gonna hate me. Anything else that you guys want to say about the movie, or did y'all have questions, or what you liked, what stood out? Who's your favorite character or portrayal or acting job? I guess you already mentioned it, Eric Bana for you guys, because I really love Tom Sizemore. He plays the guy who's like the leader of the Humvee crew. His name is McKnight. He's got the raspy voice, and I think he's the guy that's in the front seat and the driver can't see. He's got the blood on in his eyes, and he goes back to base and then he goes back out there. He feels like he's like the most competent character that's really in the middle of the shit being overwhelmed, and like, I don't know. He feels like the heart of like the American soldier. And I just think that his performance is really great in this movie.
Well, I was also kind of partial to Ewan McGregor's character until Josh told us the.
Till he ruined it.
I did not know that about.
Yeah, I was
like
too.
I saw he was based on somebody, and I didn't investigate any further. And now I'm like,
Yeah, I ruined it for myself as well. Honestly, I mean, it's going to sound really terrible. I think my favorite character is barely in the movie, but he's I have to look at the Wikipedia to remember his name because I don't remember anybody's name in this movie. Osman Otto, the guy who's selling arms to the militia. Like he's like kind of like a middleman for like he's one of the Somalian. But he's played by George Harris, who kind of just he's in Raiders of the Lost Ark, and it's just a cool.
So you're just happy to see George Harris?
Yeah, he's Kingsley Shacklebolt in the Harry Potter movies. I knew he was in Harry Potter. I had to look up what his character's name was. But
so is Jason Isaacs.
Okay.
Who plays I have to look it up. Captain Mike Steele. He's what's his name? Malfoy, the dad.
Draco's dad?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, there's not a whole lot more I guess we can really say about the movie. It's one of those films that I think you have to watch to understand and really fully grasp what it's trying to do. I think it does get its message across pretty powerfully.
It's worth watching. I think everybody should watch it once, even though I'm somebody who, like I said, I come at it, I'm coming into it with a lot of bias. But also, like, it's still cool to watch. Like, I don't know that I was ever, like, entertained. But I was wanted to see what was going on, and, like, I mean, the cinematography's fantastic. I think the directing's really good. Performances are good for what they are. I mean, everybody is kind of like just,
screaming and reacting,
well,
and
I think even
the action's great.
Oh, the action's top notch. I think that even what makes this movie great when you get to the performances is even the lesser characters have amazing performances. Like Kim Coates' character is the guy who gets like blown in half in the middle of the street and tells the guy to tell his wife and kids that he loves them, but he's he's awesome in Sons of Anarchy, and he's really not in a whole lot of movies, but it was cool to see him, and that was the most range I've ever seen him have. And he has quite a bit of range in Sons of Anarchy, but I thought he just was really powerful in this. And Tom Hardy, for his first major film, was really awesome. And I know you said there's not a lot of humor in this movie, but it is really funny when him and the guy that he's with, which is Nelson, and they're talking back and forth, and Nelson's like, "Don't shoot that thing next to my ear," and then he goes deaf, and he's like, "What?" And he's like, "Shut up, what?" But you're also like, "Holy shit!" Like, dude, he's gonna get them fucking shot, like. But it's like Nelson's character going deaf, which is not talked about at all in the documentary, is a nice addition to the movie, though.
I mean, my favorite parts of the movie, I mean, like the action is like just top notch, and I think that's like I understand why that would be why most people would remember this movie, because it is just that last 2 hours is just nonstop, really, hits you. But when they're at the base is fun. Like, it is fun. Like that's where a lot of the humor kind of like you get they're mocking the one guy's mocking the lieutenant or whatever, and then they're like before they are going off to the mission. I think it's Josh Hartnett and Ewan McGregor are like going back and forth, and like he just tells them like just shoot when the shooting starts. Like, make sure you're just shooting the same direction as everybody else.
Yeah.
Some funny lines in the lead up to the mission.
One thing I wanted to bring up before we finish is, I hadn't seen this before, and I think we mentioned this on another episode, that this did win editing at the Academy Awards, which Memento is the same year. And I would have, to me, Memento is just so interesting the way it's done. I'm like, how could that have not won? I think I don't agree with it, but I think I kind of get it because of the sheer number of characters and storylines that he's intercutting between. I'm like, I think I kind of understand why there would be an appreciation for this, and maybe some people thought of Memento as like gimmicky, perhaps. But it is interesting that this beat out a movie like that.
My first thought was when you said that was because, well, it is a war movie in a war year, and this movie has a lot more to say than Memento. Even though Memento is a very good film, this film has more of a message, right? Curious, was Mulholland Drive also nominated for editing? Because I feel like it should have been.
No, so I'm looking at the list. It was A Beautiful Mind, The Lord of the Rings to the Fellowship of the Ring,
Beautiful Mind,
Memento, and Moulin Rouge.
Okay.
Which I think editing for Moulin Rouge, honestly, I might have argued maybe it should have. Like,
Razzie. No, Moulin Rouge is too much editing. It's like overwhelming.
So it was. So it won Best Sound also, like we mentioned, and Amelie. You know how to say it, Allison. How do you?
I think it is actually. It might actually be Amelie. I've always said Amelie, and I'm like, that may not be right.
So that was in the sound category. Lord of the Rings again, Moulin Rouge, and Pearl Harbor was. I don't know. I don't know how many other awards Pearl Harbor was nominated for. Let's see.
So if you want to get nominated for an Oscar, just make a war movie, and you'll get nominated for sound.
Pearl Harbor actually won an Academy Award for sound editing. It was one of 2 nominees, it and Monsters, Inc.
What?
2 nominees. That's wild.
I'm going down a rabbit hole of trying to understand what best sound editing, what the criteria is, because
How does an animated movie, the Folly stage guy win that? Like...
But even in a year with Fellowship of the Ring, and like the sound in that, I think is genuinely like pretty amazing. Like
Harry Potter as well.
I'm not.
And for those to not even be nominated,
I don't know what sound editing and sound. What the difference is in sound editing and sound.
But they've been. They used to be separate categories, and it says that they merged into. Like,
okay, yeah, because no one knew what the difference was.
Because it was sound editing versus sound mixing, but like editing, it says creating and shaping a film's sound effects, foley, and ambience, and I'm like, yeah, those are odd choices, is what I would say. Yeah. But I am also not a member of the Academy, so
we should be.
I don't have a SAG card.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, like, we're as good as anybody. I mean, shit.
We can do that. We pronounce Amelie, whatever.
Yeah.
Did we want to talk about Ridley Scott for a minute before we?
Yeah. I think you kind of have to, right? Ridley Scott is a treasure, like generational talent, once in a lifetime, amazing director. It is fun that like. He really, you could put his movies up with his brother's movies and have a legit argument about who's the better director and not be wrong with either one of them. And I don't know how that happens with 2 brothers to become, just these top-notch directors. But you could go down an entire rabbit hole of just amazing films that not only Ridley Scott's made, but also produced and written. And, he could do any genre and make it work, I think.
That's what I find interesting about, because I have to go remind myself in his filmography of what he's directed. I mean, he directed Thelma and Louise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you think about Alien and the way that movie feels.
His best movie.
Great movie. And then to go to Thelma and Louise, G.I. Jane, Hannibal, Black Hawk Down, Matchstick Men, which is a movie that I actually really liked. I remember seeing that in the theater.
I've never seen it.
The Martian, which is sort of an action comedy.
I hate Matt Damon.
House of Gucci, which is totally over. I enjoyed that movie. It is very over the top and ridiculous.
He didn't direct House of Gucci, did he?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He did?
Yeah.
I did not know he directed House of Gucci.
It is. It's his body of work is all over the map.
Is that a plus or a minus in your book, Slade?
I think. Oh.
The way he reacted, I wasn't clear what. I mean,
with the.
It's like is your entire opinion of Ridley Scott changing?
No, it's just one of those things. For some reason, it never registered that was a Ridley Scott movie. Maybe because it seems so out of his realm.
That's
I don't
what
know.
I'm saying. Like it's
Like-
there's a lot of like stuff that you're like. Okay.
Don't forget about The Last Duel. The Last Duel is amazing too.
I haven't seen The Last Duel yet.
The Last Duel is amazing. It is Adam Driver and I think it's Matt Damon. Like Adam Driver and Matt Damon going at it. It's based on a true story that happened in ye olden days. But it's
Sorry, Blade Runner. I can't believe I didn't mention
Yeah.
Blade Runner.
Yeah. Can't
like,
leave out the
one
Blade
of the most influential sci-fi movies of all time.
don't forget
Legend.
American Gangster.
I haven't seen American Gangster.
You
Have we talked about Legend?
what?
Have
Have we talked about what?
I feel like Legend has come up on the pod for some reason before.
The Tom Hardy movie with the twins?
No, the Tom Cruise movie from it's like a fantasy movie.
Did it come up when we talked about Tom Cruise? And
Possibly,
his
it's possibly.
Eyes Wide Shut. And
He
working
directed
with
that too.
directors?
Is the only reason I brought it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, his I mean range. It's a lot of range. I mean he's it's weird. He's not someone I ever think about when I think about like my favorite directors. Honestly, and a lot of it's because I've never seen Thelma and Louise. Like I know it's a classic.
Oh,
Thelma and Louise is
It's
top
one of,
notch.
It's one of
Top
my
notch, yeah.
It's one of my blind spots.
He doesn't seem
But
to be
Alien,
slowing down though.
Like I think Alien is like to me, it's like I mean it's his second movie and it's like so fucking incredible. Like it's
okay.
just like
Question.
hmm
What do you all think of Prometheus?
I love it.
I've never watched any of the other ones. I've not seen the James Cameron one. I've not seen any of the other ones.
No, he
I love
directed. He directed Prometheus.
Yeah, he directed
I knew he
Prometheus
came back.
and Alien Covenant.
Okay.
I love that series and sequence. The problem that I had with Prometheus when it first happened was I loved the movie. I thought it's a masterpiece as far as like cinematography, special effects, and what they've got going on there. He gets some great performances as well from Charlize Theron and Idris Elba, and I love it. But the problem I had with it was pushed off as this like Alien prequel, which it is, but you're thinking you're going to get like answers, and it leaves you with way more questions than it does answers. But it really does have a good theory on like what is life, why were humans created, and what life is. And it feels like the building blocks for kind of what Ridley may have been wanting to go towards with the original Alien film that he never quite got to. And he wanted to expand on that. And then he added to it with Alien Covenant and started making it make a little bit more sense. And I enjoy the Alien prequel films and think that they're fun and well done. And I was just getting ready to say it, give him credits for being brave. He could have coasted on Alien and made 5 Alien sequels for the next 20 years and not challenged himself at all. And he just kept doing different things. Like, not every movie he makes is a hit, but he's got way more hits and successful films. Like, for every The Counselor, you have 3, back-to-back Gladiators and American Gangsters and Last Duels. Like, I think he's just awesome. I love Ridley Scott. And I'm sad that he's getting up there in age because who knows how much longer we're going to have him. But he's not slowing down. Like, if you look at his IMDb right now, he's got
something coming out this year.
Yeah, he's got a film in post-production called The Dog Stars.
It sounds cool, honestly.
Yeah,
The
hey, it's got
synopsis of it.
Guy Pearce, Josh Brolin, Jacob Elordi. I don't know who that is.
He's Frankenstein.
Right? Oh, okay. Yeah. You're right.
Or Frankenstein's monster, right?
Yeah. He plays the monster in the Frankenstein movies. Margaret Qualley, Benedict Wong as well. The synopsis is
Margaret Qualley. There we go.
Yeah.
I like Margaret Qualley.
Do you?
Yeah, she's great in The Substance.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You're talking about her acting or the way she looks?
I like all of
both
Margaret
or
Qualley.
both.
It says, in a post-apocalyptic world, a virus wipes out humanity. Survivors face roaming scavengers called Reapers. Protagonist Hig, a pilot, survived the flu, but lost his wife.
I'll watch it. I'm a sucker for Contagion, Alien
based on
virus,
a
et cetera.
novel too. So which is by Peter Heller. Why do I know that name? Let's click on this guy.
Yeah, check out Peter Heller there. But even if you don't like, okay, so that's in post production. It's done. He's got another film in development called Bomb, another film in pre production called It's What I Do, another film where he's a cinematographer for in development called O. Two more films in pre production. One film he's rumored. He's got like 7, 8
Damn.
irons in the fire. Like, he is not slowing down. He could easily just be a producer. These are films he's mostly attached to direct.
He's gonna die behind the camera. We talk about
I'm
coaches
gonna go
dying
back to
on the
Prometheus.
sidelines.
And say
Yeah,
that, like,
I'm sorry, Allison. Go ahead.
there was so much about that movie that I thought was really good, but it was one of those movies that once I left and I kept thinking about the plot that I started getting pissed off because I'm like, characters make the acting for the most part is great. It looks great. It's weird and creepy and has a lot of that same like vibe of the original Alien, but like so many of the characters do stuff that's just dumb and it just to move the plot along, and I was like, who wrote this?
Hey now.
Like the guys whose job is they're geologists, they map things. They get lost. They get lost immediately.
On a planet they've never been to, you have to
But,
get
like-
lost to know where you are.
But like immediately they're just like, oh my god, I don't know what to do. And then like one of them sees like a space penis and they're like, what's this? And pokes it and of course gets in. I'm just like, it's that level of like, these
They're
people-
high. They're also under the influence of smoking.
It's so, like there's so much about this movie that was so good and like it just ruins it for me because there's so many like weird dumb decisions that get made just to further the plot.
For the record,
But I
Prometheus.
think Michael
Go ahead.
Fassbender I think he is just amazing in that movie. I love him
Yes.
as the android.
He's great in that movie, but I think he's even better in Alien Covenant.
Yeah, I liked Covenant.
Yeah.
I actually liked Covenant better.
Covenant's awesome. The spine bursters are great in that too. Like, Ridley just keeps creating these amazing creatures for this alien universe that are terrifying, and then not only that, but let's be real, Prometheus is the number 2 Christmas movie of all time.
Oh,
It happens on Christmas. He's putting up a Christmas tree when they wake up.
hell yeah!
Idris Elba says, "What? It's Christmas. We got to show people that the time passed." So it's a Christmas
I'll
movie.
go
Okay.
if Die Hard's a Christmas movie, which I
No,
believe. Then
Die Hard is not.
Prometheus is also a Christmas
Die
movie.
Hard is not, but Prometheus is.
So you did ask who wrote it, who wrote Prometheus. So listen, so it's co-written, and you could
Damon Lindelof and somebody else.
Damon Lindelof, whose film credits leave a lot to be desired.
He's
And
mostly
then-
known for writing the Lost TV series, right?
Yeah, Lost and the Watchmen, which is well received. I never watched. But then the other co-writer is John Spates, who is doing all the Dune movies. So like co-writing the Dune movies, the current Dune movies. So kind of interesting contrast there.
You've seen Watchmen the movie, I presume.
Yeah, it's been up forever. And I remember actually thinking I'd like to rewatch it because I remember at the time it getting I guess a bad rap from what I remember. I don't know. I was like 13 or whatever, but I remember thinking or whatever 15, and I don't know. I remember thinking like is pretty faithful to the comics, but like that's a really tough comic to adapt. And does the series, is it more?
The series is so good.
Is it like an extension or like or something?
It happens later, but like the movie, he's got to come up with this like worldwide threat to unite people, and it's an alien or creature,
right,
in the graphic novel, but they go with what is it in the movie? I don't even remember. They changed it because I guess they thought that was too weird. In the show, which is like an extension, like they present it as like, yeah, this weird alien creature like came down and killed a bunch of people, and we had to, and it's just so well done. Like,
I love the comic. I need to check out the show because I heard it was fantastic. So
it is fantastic.
I know you're a good judge.
Yeah, I've always wanted to watch the show.
I liked a good chunk of the Watchmen movie. I just think it suffers from Zack Snyder's general excessive use of slow motion and
he's a terrible director.
Weird needle drops and yeah,
I'm not a fan. And honestly, I think that's probably his best movie. Sadly.
I think his Dawn of the Dead remake is his best
Oh
movie.
no, you're right. You're right. That is his best movie. That's his best movie.
actually really.
I still
enjoyed that
prefer
one.
Snyder and his DC universe over the Gunn universe
All of
stuff.
his DC movies fucking suck, and I don't care to say it. Like, they
Oh,
all
well,
fucking suck. Come
they're
at me,
better
Jason
than
Rose.
they're better than the James Gunn stuff. James Gunn's Suicide Squad is trash. It's
Oh my
awful.
god! Oh god!
Superman,
no.
boo boo, CW
No.
film.
See, Slate hates kaijus, Allison. Me and you are team kaiju.
I
I
like
hate
kaijus.
kaiju.
I don't like giant starfish kaijus with a fucking
Jason-
Sylvester Stallone shark fighting it.
Slate just wants to fuck Godzilla, and me and Starro is like. Meanwhile, Starro's over here like,
Eating people's faces.
yeah, Starro's scary, bro. Like,
That movie is so bad. It's so fucking bad.
It's not. That movie is great.
No, it's terrible.
It's great. Margot Robbie is fantastic.
She's the only redeeming quality about the movie, and they kept her in it because they had to, because they knew they had to have her in it.
That movie even redeemed.
Joel Kinnaman
Yes, because in the
as Flag.
David Ayer as Rick Flag, as the David Ayer version, I was like, let's not even talk about that movie.
That's not even his fault, though. Like, I don't think David Ayer basically said that the studio just took everything and changed it completely. Like, he went dark, they went bright. They reshoots and everything else. That movie was a gigantic mess. Too many cooks in the kitchen. So you could probably argue some of it's his fault, but let's be real. The biggest atrocity in that entire film is whatever the fuck they came up with for that Joker
Jared
character.
Leto.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I think it's interesting. That whole cast is like really interesting, but like I don't know anybody in that cast besides Margot Robbie's doing anything good. I mean, Will Smith's kind of fun, I guess, but I don't
slapping
know.
the shit out of people.
It's-
He just no wait, he's the second one. Sorry.
Yeah, he's in the second one.
I'm getting him conflated.
which is better and good.
No, it's
Yeah,
not.
agreed.
It's not.
There was something else. Oh, did you guys? Since we're on Zack Snyder, might as well keep dumping on the guy. Did you all watch Army of the Dead? His first
Yeah.
Netflix movie. That movie
Yeah.
fucking sucks too. Like it's like.
Wait, I thought didn't he do Red Moon or whatever?
Oh
as
yeah,
well?
no, this was his first one. The Rebel.
Wait,
Moon
Army of the
Netflix.
Dead is that the Batista movie?
Yeah, Dave Bautista's about the only good thing in that going for that movie.
Yeah.
There's like
Dude,
a whole
kudos to
like
Batista.
zombie
Yeah.
society, and they were like zombie. Are they
Yeah.
strippers or something? Did that? It's,
So
Batista is cooking though. He is like really becoming
he's awesome
an
in Knock
actor.
at the
He's
Cabin.
awesome.
He is awesome in Knock at the Cabin. Yeah.
Hyped to see what he does next. He's been great in pretty much everything he does.
Yeah, I love that The Rock was trying to go get himself nominated for an Oscar, and it's so clear. Like if Batista just keeps going at it, he's going to be the one that gets it. Like
He will.
he won't get the nomination. He might end up winning an Oscar. Like he's legit like doing it.
Mm-hmm. Also, fuck James Gunn for Peacemaker. Peacemaker
I've not
is
watched Peacemaker.
trash.
People love it, right?
I
Like-
enjoy Peacemaker.
Yeah, people
I
are
do.
liking it.
Yeah,
You'll never get me to like it, but probably
it's okay. It's
a lot of that is probably John Cena fatigue too. I've never liked him even as a wrestler. As a diehard wrestling fan, I always hated Cena, but I can't
I think
stand
Cena
Peacemaker.
kind of found his niche in leaning into like the comedic.
Blockers
Corniness.
is awesome. I love him in Blockers. That's my favorite.
Yeah,
movie.
he is funny in Blockers. I will give him that. He's
There's
funny in Blockers.
it's a mockumentary. It's like a fake documentary on HBO Max called Tour de Pharmacy. Have you heard of it?
No.
It's presented as a documentary, but it's about like these cyclists and they're doing the Tour de France, but they're all like
On steroids.
they're all doping. But it's got John Cena, Orlando Bloom. Oh my
I
god!
thought you were gonna say John C. Riley, and I was gonna say like sign me up.
It's y'all should watch it. It's really. It's only like an hour
It sounds
long, I
fun.
think. Yeah, it's fun.
Sounds like a nightmare. It sounds like my worst nightmare.
I've loved this Black Hawk Down discussion. This has been my favorite part of the podcast so far. I hope.
Oh man. I'll say this about Black Hawk Down. I know you guys said like, all right, it's not entertaining.
I didn't
and
hate it.
it's-
I want to be clear. Like,
No,
I don't
I
think
think-
it's a bad movie.
I
Like,
think it's
it is a
totally
good
worth
movie.
watching. But again, I'm going to categorize it in like I've seen it, I get it, and I'm not just going to like come
You
home
guys
from
don't like
come home
watching-
from work after a long day and like I think I want to watch Black Hawk Down and see this kid get his face shot up and blood running in his eyes to where he can't see.
You don't like watching movies that, you go home, sit down, and have a good cry? Like, I don't know. All right.
That can't be cathartic.
No, real talk. when I said this movie's entertaining, I think it's entertaining in the sense that like you're not gonna walk away happy, but like as somebody who is, I fancy myself a history buff, and so like I like to see movies based on real things and political events that happened and the effects that it had on the people involved and where it is afterwards, and like knowing that this movie came out right after 9/11 and seeing like what was entertaining, what I like about it, and why I think the film is worth rewatching, and why like if I came across it again and it's on TV, I'm gonna sit down and probably watch it again, is because the performances are great. The cast is top notch. This is one of the best casts I've ever seen. I love this cast. There's not really anybody that I think is bad or should be replaced with a different actor. Everybody's at different roads of their like careers and all come together for this film in a beautiful way. The scenery, the shooting, as far as the way the film is shot, the filters that they use to make it look the way it does, the way they're showing the sequences of the helicopters flying in and when they're crashing, and I like it's just, I think it's a masterpiece of like what film is, and that's why I think it's entertaining and why I think it's worth rewatching, even for the shittiness of like watching people die awful ways in war. But like it also makes you like, sometimes it's nice to see your like realize like what humans can do to each other and feel like that mortality and understand that like, fuck man, the world can be a bad place, but like I don't know, I like it.
I've definitely said enough about it in terms of, you know, where I stand. I think, I do think it matters though to kind of answer the question, sort of our that we posit every week in our regular schedule. It definitely matters because we are still. It matters probably more than when it came out, which is, you know, sometimes not the case with some of the movies we talk about. But I think it, for a lot of the reasons Slate stated, is it's got a visceralness to it that is rooted in reality and doesn't hold back. I mean, whatever you think of that, it doesn't hold back in a lot of ways. You know, unfortunately, we dealt with the ramifications of something very similar to this in terms of an event and fallout from it for a long, long time. And then seems like at the time of recording, we're probably about to embark on some things that may be similar. So,
yeah, we're dealing with the Venezuela thing, and now didn't Trump just say we're
gonna go take Greenland? It sounds like.
Well, he wants to buy Greenland, right? And then also there's protests. Is it in Iran that like he wants to get involved
Iran, in? And also happen to be people getting gunned down in the streets in Minnesota, which is in America. You know, good times in our country of origin here.
This is why I opt for escapism.
Full circle.
I want to watch movies about like aliens and I like it's definitely like a shift. Like I like post COVID, I feel like I used to watch a lot more stuff like this, and like I'm gonna watch like serious movies and like appreciate the art. And there's something like just the stress of COVID and everything after, and just my day-to-day job and some of the things I have to deal with. I'm just like, I just want to go home and like be in a world where like this couldn't really happen. you know?
I get that. So
you want to go home and turn on Gosford Park, which is going to be on our main feed next week. Like Slate said, Valentine's coming up. That's a good. So Allison loves Valentine's.
Yeah, Allison, Valentine is the perfect escape for you, is it not?
It should have been, really. Okay, here's one thing, since I didn't get to be on the episode. One thing I do want to say, and after listening to, oh my God, what's your friend's name?
Marilee.
Marilee.
We'll be joined by Marilee from Fear Coded on that episode if you're listening to this ahead of that one.
She's a delight.
It was a delight to listen to her. And one thing she talked about, that movie had potential, and I was thinking about it more and more, and I'm like, I really wish that they had leaned more into the story of all the boyfriends so that you would be more like, oh, which one of them is it? Because I feel like there is like a satirical thing to be said about like these women having each of them as a shitty boyfriend in a different way. but we just see glimpses of all of them except for David Boreanaz, who it's like he obviously he's the serial
Spoiler
killer,
alert.
but because he has all of the story anyway. After listening to her, I was like, yes, I can see there would be like potential there for this to actually be like a really good kind of satirical take. I just don't think it made it there. But
that is also the last time you will hear David Boreanaz's name pronounced correctly this week.
Yeah, we butchered that.
I was listening, and you're like, how do you say David Boreanaz? And I was like, I couldn't speak. I was like, Boreanaz, as I was listening.
I should have done like the phonics and figured it out. I don't know. That's my bad. I mean,
hey, I was in the same boat, bro.
yeah, David B.
David B.
All right. So obviously, I think this movie matters. Josh said this movie matters. I know you, like you said, are more of an escapism fan. But Allison, does this movie matter to you?
Yeah, I think this movie matters.
Okay. Well, that's all I got for you guys. I appreciate y'all joining me on this ride here and talking about Black Hawk Down in a more just traditional friends talking with a lot less structure. And I hope the audience members that are listening, if you guys have made it all the way through, we got probably a lot of things wrong and flying by the seat of our pants and doing research on our phones and computer to correct ourselves in the middle of this. Because this was more of a, hey, let's just talk about it. And so there's, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you all had fun. Hopefully you had more fun with us than they did in the film. And no, if you haven't checked out, if you're a fan of this movie, if you like this movie, if you like war stories, if you like true documentaries, I highly recommend taking the time to watch the Netflix documentary because it really does a good job of showing not only the American soldiers' perspective, but also the Somali soldiers and the Somali citizens. And it does a really good job of showing all the ramifications of what happened after this. There's a lot more about the prisoner of war sequence and everything else. So there's a lot more politics to it. And it's just a really, really well done documentary. So
what is the name of that documentary? I don't remember if you said
it. It is called Surviving Black Hawk Down. And it is a Netflix exclusive, if you will. So check it out if you've got time. There's another Black Hawk Down documentary. I'm not sure where that one is, but I'm sure that one's probably good too. But this one is done by Ridley Scott, so I think that's where you should go with it, right? Because that's what the movie's made by. So who the movie's made by. But yeah. The next episode is Valentine on Valentine's Day. I hope you guys love that. It's a fun conversation for sure. Allison gives us some amazing notes on that. We have great fun with Allison and her notes since she...
I had zero voice at time of recording, so...
I think the quote was, "This movie's so bad it gave me the flu." So, which I disagree.
It literally took my breath away.
Yes.
That's one of those pull quotes when you get from out of a shitty review, but it's plastered on the DVD.
Take it out of context.
Oh man! But then after that, the next episode is it Gosford Park? Is that right, Josh?
Yep. The next core episode is Gosford Park. If you're listening to this, we recorded it. It's funny because we're recording. This stretch in February has been interesting with how we're recording and just from behind the scenes for the listener. So I think we probably recorded Gosford Park it feels like 7 episodes ago.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
And it's technically our 7th episode. So it's been kind of interesting how that worked out. But yeah, if you're enjoying any of the episodes, please let us know. Comment, subscribe on YouTube, anywhere you get podcasts. Give us reviews, feedback. And also, the core episodes, if you listen to our draft, you understand, what we're getting at with the main schedule. But with these bonus episodes, we're doing a lot of different things. If you've been listening in order, I talked to Paul Germain and Joe and Salabaher, who made the Recess movie. That's something, so it was more of an interview thing. If you're coming right this same week, we just dropped Hannibal, where we had Brian Raftery on, who wrote Hannibal Lecter of Life. Great, another. So we're just being, where the core episodes have a pretty good structure to them, but the bonus episodes are like this, where we kind of just, fly a little bit more by the seat of our pants, or easier. And that's honestly on me to make it's a little easier for me to edit, and everybody to kind of, we don't have to sit and prepare notes and do a lot of research, and sometimes we're going to get shit wrong, and that's just how it goes in bonus land sometimes. So
yeah,
call us out, let us know if we got something wrong, and we can correct it in our minds, if not in audio.
Yeah. And we'll acknowledge it and be like, okay, thank you for pointing that out.
We appreciate your
sorry.
feedback.
I've caught myself, speaking of screwing up, I've catch myself screwing up all the time. Like, for instance, I started talking about No Man's Land saying, oh yeah, the beginning of that movie has a quote. And that quote is from Plato, and it says, only the dead have seen the end of war.
It was funny because Josh and I were like, yeah. I was
you
like,
guys just let me go.
I was like, God, did I miss that? I missed that.
Yo.
Yeah, our episode that kicks off Oscars month in a couple weeks, Gosford Park. I can't remember. No Man's Land is coming up soon, and yeah, that was fun.
So I say that, and they're both just letting it go along. Next time, stop me and be like, no, Slate, did you watch the same movie we did? Because actually, that quote is the beginning of this movie, Black Hawk Down, not No Man's Land. So, beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So, that's all I got, guys. It's been a pleasure. Thank y'all for joining me tonight. I'm going to leave you with this beautiful quote as well. It's from a 2001 song that I love. If you know it, you can sing it along. But so for you, this is just a good time. But for me, this is what I call life. Come on.